everyone, this is Dr. Clark. I'm your child's 8th grade language arts teacher. Welcome to our virtual curriculum night. I know it's not the same as being in person, but here we are. So for language arts and for all of your child's other grades, 35% of the grade is coming from informal, 65% for formal grades. And as you can see, our grading scale did not change from last year. It is still on a 10-point scale. So when we're talking about informal grades, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, 35% of the grades coming from homework, classwork, and participation. And the participation is key for this year because a lot of them are not choosing to participate, and I really could use your help kind of encouraging them, even if it's just them sending something in a chat through our Zoom sessions. If your child does happen to miss and not get an assignment turned in, they can still turn it in late, but our late policy is the same as last year. If it's 1 day late, the highest grade they can get is an 80. If it's 2 or more days late, the highest grade they can receive is a 50. Now for formal grades, 65% of their overall grade will come from writing pieces, annotation assessments, text-based discussions or seminars, novel assessments, tests, and those types of things. Now, if they do not fare well on their test and they would like a retest, that is up to them to ask. But yes, they may have a retest. However, a retest score, the highest grade they can get will be a 79. Now, most of the homework is graded off of effort and completeness. So if they do have a 0 in Canvas or in PowerSchool, please make sure that you talk to them because that means either they didn't do it or what they turned in was very poor work. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that we do in class that is considered homework, they should have done before we leave our session for the day. Therefore, there should not be any zeros in the gradebook. So this year we've decided district-wide to go to a new curriculum. It's called the L curriculum. It's a comprehensive standard-based core literacy program. There are 3 modules that are broken down into different units, and I'll go over that in a minute. We have integration of habits of character and academic mindsets. We do touch on the 21st century skills, and we offer different reading things like close reading, writing tasks, group discussions, and performance tasks. So those modules that we talked about, it says that the students are provided a workbook that coincides with each lesson. Well, unfortunately, since we are not physically in the building, all of the handouts and things that they need for that workbook are digital. So I spent quite a bit of time the first week of school showing them how to organize and save all of those documents and where to put them in their Google Drive, just to help them be a little bit more organized. So as you can see, Module 1, which is what we're currently in, is Folklore of Latin America. The second module is Food Choices, and we will finish up the year on lessons from Japanese American internment camp. Now, as far as books, currently we are reading Summer of the Mariposas, and then you will see Module 2 and Module 3, we have The Omnivore's Dilemma and Farewell to Manzanar. All of those, if you want, you can purchase paper copies if your child prefers that. Otherwise, we will have them through Sora, which I'll talk about in a minute, and it's a free digital online library. So either one is fine, whatever their preference is. Now, throughout the new curriculum, we are constantly embedding vocabulary and grammar, and it is really important that they know how to use words correctly, and they know how to put commas and punctuation and capitalization. So grammar is also key with that. We have been doing a language deep dive into all of the different curriculum lessons, so they are getting touches of grammar and vocab with everything that we're doing. So the digital resources that we are utilizing this year, obviously SchoolNet. SchoolNet is where they're going to have all of their mid and end of unit and module assessments. So really important that they do have their Chromebook working for that. The Google Drive is probably one of the most important ones because this is where they need to house and store every assignment for their classes, which takes us into Canvas. Canvas, obviously, online platform that we used at the end of last school year. Some teachers were using it before we went out in March. However, that is the main platform where they are going to turn in and submit every assignment. A lot of students want to still just share their documents with me. However, if it's not in Canvas, we're not able to get it graded. And then Sora, which is the online library that is offered to all students through CMS. And the students do know how to access that and get in there. So how can you be involved? Well, if you don't already have the Parent Canvas app, I would highly advise you to download it and use that to take a look and see what your child is doing. If you go to my main Canvas page on the left-hand side, there will be a link with step-by-step instructions on how to get there. The other thing that you can do to get involved is to use the Remind 101 app, and the code that I have is at D67FAF, but it's also on my main page for my Canvas course. And I will be using that as we are kind of embarking through this year for major formal assessments. Another piece of advice or help that you can give to get them a little bit more involved, and you can be involved as well, is we need to have the kids kind of working with their cameras on. It's important so that we can kind of see their faces, know if they're being, on task or off task, but also it helps us build a relationship with them. And otherwise, I'm looking at a little blank screen with their name, and when we do go back to the school, I won't know who is who, and I'm gonna have to start all over again with trying to put names and faces together. The other thing that you can help with is encouraging them to participate, whether it's in class, in our chat, whether it's with small groups or a partner, or even just with me, because we're having a little bit of issues this year with them wanting to participate. I'm feeling like I'm in the classroom all by myself. Now, like in years past, we've always offered tutoring at Community House. This year, we've built it into the schedule. So every Monday and Wednesday from 3:45 to 4:15 is when I have language arts tutoring. So they know how to get there, but if you're wanting to know, basically, if you go to my Canvas course homepage, go under live lessons, there will be a link for a Zoom tutoring session. So all they have to do is go and click in it. If they don't have any questions or problems or need anything, they are not required to go. And if they do pop in, they're not required to stay for the whole 30 minutes. So they can come in, ask their question, get the help they need, and then hop back off. Now, as far as makeup work, students, if they are absent, they do have 5 days to get the work made up from that absence, but it is their responsibility to find out what they've missed. So they should be checking back in Canvas and PowerSchool to take a look to see what assignments they have missing. Now, Canvas is where all of the assignments are going to be in the different modules, and for language arts, I have them labeled by the date, so they don't have to go searching through all of them. But every assignment that they would need to do for that day, including any asynchronous assignment, will be posted there. As a parent, it's really important to check PowerSchool. Think of Canvas as kind of a digital notebook, and there are assignments that they're going to do that may not necessarily impact their grade. I might collect it to look at it, but it may not necessarily be graded and put into PowerSchool. So as a parent, it is important to check PowerSchool. That will be the most accurate, up-to-date grade. So between the two, PowerSchool is where you should be going to look for their official grade. You can check Canvas to see if they've completed assignments and tasks. If you do need to get a hold of me, you can email me the good old-fashioned way, and there's my email address. Or if you have the parent app, you can actually email me directly through the Canvas parent app. The school phone right now is kind of null and void because we're not in the building, but once we do resume back to in-person learning, you can call and leave a message for me as well. But I really appreciate you taking the time to hear a little bit about what we are doing in 8th grade language arts this year. If you have any questions or concerns or need to get a hold of me for anything at all, please don't hesitate to do that. And here's to a wonderful, successful rest of this school year. Have a good night.